Good morning and welcome to Monday the 28th of January. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend, and we've got a big week this week with a few figures coming out, not necessarily today but tomorrow, leading in with consumer confidence, then going into Wednesday, US GDP, FOMC meeting, and the rate decision. Potentially, I think they will end up cutting another 50 basis points here, even if the market does find a bit of support, but that doesn't look likely today at the moment. And then non-farm payroll on Friday, so potentially a big week. Not getting overly excited about today, purely on the basis that there's just a few wrong levels. I want to actually see a trend forming in more of these currencies as we stand. Big week leading into England v Wales on Saturday as well. I don't know if anyone else is going, but I'm very much looking forward to that game. Wales haven't beaten England for over 20 years at Twickenham, but it's going to be an outstanding game and something I'm very much looking forward to by the end of the week here. Okay, let's go and have a look at exactly what are the figures coming out this today. Let me just bring up the my calendar. Here we go, and to be fair, nothing really which I think is going to move the market considerably. I guess new home sales for December, month on month at about 3 o'clock today. Play this on a deviation of maybe if this comes down to about 0.2% deviation. So again, if that comes in at minus 0.5, then that would be weak for the dollar here. Obviously, if it comes in at nearly flat, minus 0.1%, then obviously potential strength of the dollar. But potentially, I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of change on actual these figures here. So as I said, look for the rest of the week with consumer confidence, US GDP, FOMC rate decision, non-farm payroll. That's what's going to give us a big direction on the US figures, and on the US dollar, and obviously we'll be able to trade on the back of that. Okay, so we'll be monitoring that on a daily basis here. Okay, the only news we've had out is really the South African power crisis, and again, this has been sending gold and platinum through the roof. Analysts generally predicting that we're going to start hitting $1,000 within the next $1,000 an ounce within the next few weeks here. And it's really down to South Africa's major gold producers saying that they're shutting down their state-owned power generating company Eskom, finally admitting it could no longer guarantee its supplies. And it's basically because of ongoing coal shortages. And interesting on the platinum side, about 3/4 of the world's platinum is produced in South Africa. So something to have a look at there. If you take away supply, where's demand going to go? Well, demand's going to go through the roof, and it's obviously worth getting along with that. Obviously, the move has sort of happened. That is generally old news going in from last week, end of last week. So gold did obviously rise. Great play, obviously, on that Thursday, Friday. My notes, I'm going to obviously send these to you by email, and you can see I've written these notes out for the currencies here. So again, work through the sheet here. Pound dollar resistance 198.50. We know that it's in a downward channel. If it breaks above that, then obviously potential pullback to the 2. Sterling yen, we know there's big resistance at 214, but again, it's obviously needs to break down the 200 MA between the daily and the hourly chart, falling down to around the 209. Dollar yen, I've said sell on rises. Look for the break of obviously the 200 moving average here. Dollar Swiss boxed in between 109 and 110 here. Euro dollar, same thing, boxed in between 147 and 146. Aussie dollar, again, boxed in between 88.50 and 87.25. It's a lot of these currencies, it's not overly exciting this morning purely because of the figures out today. I can't see a massive movement direction, so I think the market's a little bit 50-50 still, or I certainly am. So just one of those things for today. Dollar CAD needs to break 101.30 for pullback to 102. If not, if it breaks below obviously parity, then you'll start seeing it fall down again. Sterling Swiss support at 215. Look for the break. Resistance maybe at the 218 level, and Euro Sterling, look for the pullback to that 73 level. Okay, so those on the currencies. My video 2 is generally all on the indices as well as the crude and the gold market. But let's just go through the currencies. Let's just show you exactly what I mean here. We've had that little retracement back up again. It's obviously hit that 98.50 level, top of that channel, quite nicely there. the entry point on the 60-minute, well, you can see where the support level is, and it's found support off that 197 up towards that 198. I'm not getting hugely excited here. This looks like it's turning back down a little bit here. If it starts breaking out of that support level, then obviously you'll see a pullback towards that 196. So something to look for. There, which I potentially could see that. But again, without these figures, it's hard to really see where the direction is going to go. With the sterling yen, obviously, we've had the doji on the Friday. It looks potentially like it could start pulling back down again here. But again, it's all about this 200 moving average, this break of 209. Where did it come down this morning? Well, it came down to 209.33. It's definitely boxed in here. I've got 2 moving averages above me, 2 below me. You've got to wait for the breakout here before we get in. Obviously, great Thursday and Friday. Now it's just about a bit of a waiting game today. Dollar yen, well, we've had the bit of fall on. I haven't really been that excited in dollar yen. It's been very flat for me. It's broken through. I guess it's going to be sell on rises. If this just hovers here and then it starts to move back down again, I'll be looking for a short. But it's hard to buy here unless it breaks above 107. I'm not really going to get into that unless it starts to turn down. Then obviously I'll look for a short. Dollar Swiss, again holding this 109. I've been talking about this 109 for a long time now. Is it going to finally break it? Well, potentially. Swissy's obviously been the safe haven currency, and we've been shorting it all the way down. Something's obviously sitting below this 109, so you've got to be careful on that. But nothing really excited me in dollar Swiss. Euro dollar, well, we've been talking about this big pullback again. We knew that 143 level was where the support was, and 143.50 was obviously when the market started to get long at this again, pushing it back up to 148. Hasn't really come off a lot. It's trying to hold this 50 and 20 moving average quite nicely. So again, this is just another waiting game. You've got to wait. If it starts to come back above 147, then we might start seeing a pullback. As you see, the 50's there. I want to see it break it if it's going to go up. If not, 146 is obviously the support. If it breaks below 146, then obviously it will fall back down again. Aussie dollar, again, all down to the gold price, but again, obviously we have the indicators to say it's going to potentially get up again. Just worried about this old support line. It's now obviously a resistance line. There it is. There's the resistance. I want to see this break 88.50 before I look for a long. Or obviously if it breaks below 87.25, there's your short there, as the notes say. Dollar CAD, well, again, I had that short. I've been telling you guys for 5-6 days to look for that short. There we had it, off that 200 moving average. There was our indicator. There's our pullback towards the 50 moving average. Okay, told you about that 300 points perfectly. Where's this going to go from here? Well, again, you have to wait to show direction. If it breaks below 100 and parity, then it's going to fall. My CCIs are showing me potentially a break up. It's trying to hold above that 00. So I'm going to watch this very carefully today. There's my little channel there. If it breaks out either side of that, then obviously you can trade it there. Sterling Swiss, well, we've made a lot of money in this on the way down here. Is this a double bottom formation, obviously of that break line? So 218 is going to be that resistance line here. But again, it's had that fall. I still think this could fall a little bit, unless it breaks above that 217, 218 level again. Euro sterling, well, again, I always say it's very, very quiet, very boring currency, but again, 75, 74 is your support and resistance. Just got to wait to see, obviously, which direction that is. So nothing really, standing out. The dollar CAD for me, I guess, is the one I'm going to be overly looking at, and watching that for a potential signal. So watch out for figures coming out today. Okay, obviously there's always I always do a couple of videos a day, sometimes even 3, showing you exactly and teaching you exactly how to trade and how I have traded this. So hope you enjoyed that. Look out for today. Not overly exciting, but again, obviously this week we're going to see the move on the dollar at some point, whether that's up or down. But these figures will give us that indication. Okay, have a great day. Take care.